I am very excited for this week's crochet. So it was dessert week, and this was the episode where they do bin gate, which if you've watched the Great British Bake Off before, you know what bin gate is. And if you haven't watched, this is like a controversial, if there can be, episode where something controversial happens, as controversial as you can get on the Great British Bake Off. And because of that, I actually didn't even want to approach doing anything that was baked Alaska, but I got like smacked in the face with inspiration. So what I'm gonna do is I've been making these like stuffed animals a lot recently, and what popped in my head was making, if you remember Popples from like late 80s, early 90s probably. I don't exactly remember the time frame when Popples were a thing, but it's like a stuffed animal, and it was a TV show, but it was an animal and it had like a pouch on its back that you could flip around and put it inside. And I was thinking about doing animals that are like ice cream themed, and then on their back they have a little pouch, and when you turn it over, it can look like a baked Alaska. So it'll be like, I'm gonna use like probably a plush white yarn so it looks like nice and frothy and fun. So I know the first one I'm gonna make because I asked my older daughter what animal and what kind of ice cream she wants. She wants strawberry ice cream with sprinkles, and she wants it to be a dog. So we're gonna get started with that. So I spent like an hour and a half to 2 hours last night sorting out all of my scrap yarn into stuff that's either too short or like not colorful enough to use for fun scraps. Fun scraps for another use, and then these are all scraps for the sprinkles for this project. So I'm getting started on making the strawberry ice cream dog first. So as you can see, here's a paw, an arm, and this is the second one that I'm working on. And as I'm going, I'm just putting little scrap. I'm literally just like sticking them through with my crochet hook and then tying them in the back. I can't give you guys the full pattern for this because this would turn into like a 10 video series, but I will show you guys the step-by-step process as I go. So first, we make 2 arms. Then I made 2 feet, and I put sprinkles on the bottoms for a little extra flair. Then apparently we had some lost footage because I definitely had more footage of the process between turning feet into this body, but we turned it into a little body. And then you can see kind of the back of the body here. And then this is my support pole, and I'm going to do a tutorial for like neck and body support poles very soon, so watch out for that. And this is me closing it up, and this is kind of where I start to do the head part of it. And this is the beginning of the little puppy dog's head. And here is, once again, the body all sprinkled over. And you can see I literally just tie them in there. It's not a fancy process at all. Okay, so now it started decreasing down, and I've been adding the sprinkles as I go along, but this is the point where I usually stop and do my face. So I made like a little muzzle, and I attached it on the front with a face and some eyes. And so now I'm gonna sew the muzzle on because it's just pinned on right now. And then I'll start closing up the head. And as I close up the head, I'm gonna be adding in the sprinkles like every other row, because it's gonna get to the point where it's really well closed that it's gonna be hard to add the sprinkles on. But we'll approach that problem when we get there. So I'm adding an ear now, and now it's actually starting to properly look like a dog. I literally just chained into the side of the head here. So I'm going to work a ways down a little bit more and kind of decrease at the ends to curve it. And then I'm going to do like an under ear as well, probably, because I want to add sprinkles like I kind of did to the bottom of the foot, either to the top or the bottom of the ear. I haven't decided which yet. Probably the bottom, and then the top can be pink. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out after I finish the ears. Hey, puppy. So both ears are finished, so now I'm going to sprinkle the top of them. And so I got all the sprinklies on the outside of the ears, and this looks like so much fun, and I would love to leave this exposed, but it's just like knotted, and I would hate for them to start to fall out because I am giving this to my daughter and she's going to play with it. So unfortunately we have to hide all this fun texture away like that. Okay, so the base stuffed animal is basically finished. Next time I'd probably consider doing something a little more hingy because I do want it to kind of curl up inside of the pouch we're about to make. But let's make our little strawberry pouch for our strawberry ice cream dog. So now we're working on our little strawberry, and I'm doing half double crochets for this just because I want it to work up a little bit faster than this worked up. So I've done enough increases in the round with half double crochets that I'll be able to, now that I'm going to work straight up, I'll be able to like fit the full width of the body with the arms tucked in inside. So I finished my little strawberry pouch, and I just wrapped some of this yellow thread yarn around to make my little seeds, and I placed them. I tried not to be too perfect on them because strawberries don't have perfect little seeds. So I made this pouch big enough so that the little puppy dog can kind of be flipped around inside. And I have this ugly outside side this way because on this side is actually going to be like the meringue layer. So what we're going to do next is make another similar sized pouch with this soft meringue yarn. This is the Big Twist Posh yarn in, I don't know if it's called cream or white or coconut or whatever the white color is. That's what this is. And I was trying to do if I want to do like a puff stitch or a bobble stitch or a popcorn stitch. And I think what I'm going to try out is doing just like randomly doing a mix of all those stitches, because a meringue surface is not like, a good meringue isn't like a perfect covered shell. You want to have like different textury bits to it. So I'm going to play around with that. So I'm slowly working through the way that I said I was going to, with just like, I'm doing random puff stitches and then random bobble stitches as I go along. The biggest thing I'm trying to do is make sure that at the end of every row, I'm going back and counting to make sure that I didn't miss a stitch. I found that it's really easy to miss a stitch when you're trying to just like also count random bobble and puff stitches. But yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of go along this same line here, and hopefully it all looks right at the end. So here's our little meringue pocket finished. Before I do anything else, I'm gonna pin these together and make sure that it like works. So in theory, this little pouch will be on the back of our strawberry puppy dog here. And then after I've sewn it on, you'll be able to kind of fold it over its back, and then you'll have just a little meringue. And what I'm gonna do, because it's just plain white would absolutely emotionally destroy me, is put some little like yarn bit streaks of like pink and red and raspberry and maroon in some of like the puffier pieces. You know, kind of sometimes people do like little streaks of color through their meringues. So I'm going to unpin this. I'm going to put the little streaks in. I'm basically just going to weave it through the same way that I do sprinkles. And then I'll sew this up and sew it to the back of the puppy dog. So I just kind of tied some pieces of, I did 2 different colors of pink and a red over like the more bumpier parts to kind of make this stick out. Just tied them on like I've been doing all the other sprinkles, and now I'm sewing the 2 pieces together. We're all finished, so I sewed it to the back just a little bit. I wanted it to have obviously a lot of flexibility, so you could easily like pop the puppy dog into the strawberry meringue thing. It's something I can show you guys one-handed right now, but if you go in my actual video that I'm going to film, the actual Great British Crochet Off this week, you will see the functionality of it a little bit. In the meantime, I'm already working on a second one because I have 2 kids and they will each want their own little baked Alaska friend. So my other daughter requested a kitty cat that is chocolate. So here is the chocolate kitty cat. This one's pouch, I'm making a giant strawberry or a giant raspberry. So this is going to be a raspberry, and then I'm going to do, because quite find the Posh yarn that I used for this anymore. That has not been in stock in ages, so I don't have white, but I do have like a brown. So that one's gonna have a chocolate meringue and a raspberry. Tomorrow is my filming day, so I need to hurry up and make. I was working really quick so I could get this finished before filming today, so I didn't go through the whole making process, but here is the finished chocolate kitty cat. So I used the bobble stitch for the raspberry, and then I just did like a chocolate meringue. Same thing I did for the vanilla regular meringue. They need some outfits still, but they are basically finished, and I can give them to my daughters. They are so excited to see these. They've been dying to play with them. And I'll see you guys next week.